Key Digital, the experts in digital audio-visual and control systems.
Well, hey, Dwayne, how you doing?
Doing great, Jonathan. How are you, sir?
I'm doing lovely. Thank you very much. Just swimmingly, as they say, because it's like monsoon season has begun in my current location.
Yeah, it's
But
90s where I am too, so the humidity's high, but luckily the sun is bright here.
there you go. Well, you could swim through the air then, perhaps.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, welcome everybody to Key Digital Live. I'm Jonathan Ferry, Vice President of Product Education and Experience, and I'm pleased to be joined by Dwayne Rains. You want to tell the audience who you are, what you do for us?
Yes, sir. I'm the Vice President of Sales here at Key Digital, and glad to be here with you this morning, Jonathan. And we've got some guests we'll be introducing here in a minute after we talk a little bit about a couple of our topic products today.
Yeah, and this month's topic is education. It's not only the rainy season, the hot season, the humid season, it's also the educational install season, right, Dwayne?
Absolutely. You know, July 1 is when that new budget kicks in for most school systems. And of course, they wanted it installed by August 10th, so everybody's panicked. But it's that time of year when the new budget comes. And this year is probably one of the most confusing years for education in our lifetime. Is it hybrid? Is it in class? Is it remote? It's just all over the place, depending on where you are.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, I'm going to share my screen real quick here because we're going to hopefully be able to add some clarity to the confusion. We're going to take you guys through a quick nickel tour of Key Digital, our educational market. And we have two solutions there that we could quickly go over for the folks. One of which is our remote and hybrid classrooms. And so this is, the just playing it safe right down the middle, right, Dwayne, where you have in-person attendees and remote attendees. And this is going to provide an in-person learning experience for all of them, right, whether they're in the class or at home. And what we see here in this type of solution, the educator has their laptop. And on the laptop, they have their educational content, of course, and that goes to the projector or smart board through our HD-based extension. And the HD-based, we have a variety of form factors. We could have our wall plate, and we have a black box as well. We could accommodate VGA, HDMI, DisplayPort, USB-C. So those question marks, we have all the answers for. And then we also have here a really unique add-on for that came about because of COVID-19, not just needing to extend video, but also to integrate your remote attendees, your remote students over video conferencing software. And that's where the USB layer of our HD-based solution comes into play here. And so we have our camera feeding into the HD-based receiver. And you can mount that on the wall. You can mount that on the ceiling. In fact, we give you both mounting hardware. So you could even just place it on a cart. Or if you're like Dwayne and you want the same perspective as he had back when he was a youth in elementary school, you could just rest that camera right on the back row of seating in the class, right, Dwayne?
It'd probably be better on the front row, although I was always on the back row. That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll put some silhouette of somebody's back of the head there for you, even make it real familiar. But Dwayne, one of your early prospects came up with the idea of adding our wireless presentation device. Go ahead and fill us in on that.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are not quite yet familiar with BYOD 4K, which is our wireless presentation device, we're showing it in a slightly different way, but by itself, it's phenomenal. So please check it out on our website. But in this application, we're using it in extended monitor mode. So, when you have 2 or 3 monitors on your desk and you extend and you see that second or third monitor, well, here we can do it without actually having a physical wire connected to it. You actually do it because you're connected to the BYOD. So what that allows us to do is to put a large display or even a second projector or whatever on the back wall, and the teacher can then view her entire class that is not in the room, the ones who are Zooming in or Teams or whatever, because we're agnostic to the codec, we don't care. So she can see both the students in her classroom as well as the students remoting in. And the students remoting in, as Jonathan already mentioned, they're going to have a student perspective through the camera. So it's the best of both worlds, and it's a nice feature for our BYOD 4K add-on that is just makes this such a robust solution for the in-person and hybrid solution or remote solution.
Yeah, and remote only is fine because the camera gives that perspective. And to pick up the audio, very popular now, USB microphone and speakers. And we have our guest today is from TOA Electronics. We have
or TOA as it's
I did it. I'm sorry. Yes, TOA.
Everybody refers to them as TOA, but officially they are TOA. And so
yep. Pleased to be joined by Ian Weingold and Jim McGuiness of TOA Electronics. I'll do my stop share there. And we were just showing the hybrid application for educational needs, where that USB microphone and speaker combo, we showed a different form factor there, but the hot product, I see it over Jim's shoulder, the Lenubio. You guys want to tell us a bit about that?
Sure. Ian, you want to take it?
Sounds good. I'm going to come back to you, Jim, and we'll get into some of the technical aspects of the unit. The Lenubio is really a great little product, right? It's a sound bar, and we've seen a lot of these sorts of deployments from a number of different manufacturers, and TOA has taken a little bit of a different tack here. Coming off of the development of our AMIO, our AM1, which is an 8-beam steering array microphone, we've integrated that same 8-beam array into our soundbar. Plus, of course, added on integrated speakers, integrated USB 3.0 hub, and also provided an additional jack pack to allow for additional inputs and outputs and triggers. So the Lenubio, as far as the soundbar is concerned, is really designed for expansion into a real nice professional layout, depending on what you would want to, how you want to deploy this. The steering array is really nice because any room is going to take advantage of this sort of technical capability. If I've got a 15-foot by 15-foot room and I would like some coverage, I can set the Lenubio to automatically track within that area. But let's say it's a shallow, wide room, maybe it's 10 feet by 30 feet. If you've got people sitting at far ends of a table, you're going to want to have that steering array track to wherever it needs to. So we can set it to be very tight and reach far. We can set it to be shallow and pick up wide, really set it up for the environment that we're working in. So wow. Lenubio has been able to really take advantage of the strong microphone capability, USB connectivity to be able to tie it into your preferred codec, and then expansion for adding in additional amplifiers, more speakers, broader range of speaker coverage, or external devices being added in, like additional microphones or additional sound sources, including onboard Bluetooth. So it's really got all the connectivity you could want to place into a typical webcam configuration. And you know what? We're not in the webcam business, right? So we are not providing some sort of a camera. We're focused on audio.
Yeah, and that's really where we came together on this recent collaboration of TOA and Key Digital. We have a number of mutual partners across the entire world that are packaging our Key Digital Cam USB, the TOA Lenubio, and using this for huddle spaces, conference rooms, and classrooms. And Ian, thanks for mentioning some of those features about setting the room sizes and whatnot. That was a feature I myself was not familiar with. So that's very informative. Jim, is all that done over the web UI to define those settings?
So through your IP connection, you're going to hook up to the device, and So you're browsing in, you can set a username and password, all changeable from the default. And then you jump in, and the first thing it does is set you into the mixer mode. And in mixer mode, you can go ahead and set some of the level parameters. And then there's also an EQ that you can set in there. So if you have certain, room issues, too bright, not bright enough, that kind of thing, you can make some adjustments. Lenubio also has an output channel with EQ as well. So you can copy over those same EQ settings to the output channel if you're going to use, let's say, supplemental audio in a room as well, right? Or maybe the room that this is going to be mounted in already has an audio system and they want to connect to it. So this way you can, make those adjustments, and it can stay consistent throughout the room as far as setup. And then within the web access, you have a secondary page, which is really where the core of the product, drives all of the main features for steering, et cetera. So you get a grid that's 20 by 20, and you can adjust that width or that depth, as Ian had mentioned earlier. And the other thing that the machine can do, you can also put it in an omni microphone mode, where you can point the array in one direction. So I guess the example would be is, let's say for some reason the display was mounted not center room, it was off center, and you have the bar underneath the display, which is very typical. But maybe your table seating isn't in line with that. So you can purposely point the array to a direction. So you have those choices. It can be active,
Wow.
or it can be directed. And the array will tell you when it's in tracking mode. It tells you by visual LEDs where it is, right?
Yeah.
So the presenter is always informed, quietly, obviously it's not speaking, but it's always giving you some visual feedback of where it thinks you are. And then it also tells you whether it thinks, it's hearing you properly. So it has a visual feedback for level, for position, that type of thing. And that can all be adjusted or turned off if a particular client doesn't want that. But
Very cool.
we usually recommend that you at least leave the level on so that the presenter knows that they're speaking loudly enough to be heard through the system.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we do noise reduction if you need it. And we also have AEC. So all of these features are available.
That's fantastic. And Dwayne, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, but those very cool visual indicators on this Lenubio itself is actually something that we at Key Digital are currently using to develop a two-way driver for Lenubio that will actually take the feedback from the Lenubio of which mic of the array is picking up the signal where the speaker is speaking from, and will be able to execute preset commands for our camera to change its direction from left to right to center to zooming in, zooming out, that sort of thing. And that's just as we continue to develop the partnership here, the using not only the hardware from each company, but the software from each company to really make a powerful integration there. And that's where Jim and I actually got to know each other, was the software side of what we're doing. And Dwayne, I'm going to do one more quick screen share.
Before you do real quick, I want to do a quick correction on my colleague, because the Lenubio does not do feedback, because an audio feedback is bad, but it sends information.
Oh man, I'm 2 for 2 so far today, aren't I, guys? One more strike and I'm out of here.
Although TOA is known for quite good feedback suppression circuitry.
There we go. See, I was just pitching a softball for him to be able to throw that handy fun fact out
Jonathan, one thing I will mention as you're bringing up what you wanted to there, the idea of the Lenubio being able to communicate really nicely with Key Digital products. One of the interesting factors is that, and this is reaching back to education, we find that a lot of clients want to be able to multi-purpose their products. So there are certainly in the education market, video conferencing systems being deployed on carts, so they can be moved from one room to another room. So this could be sitting in a classroom configured for a typical, say, 20 by 25 or 30 by 30 room. But if it then gets moved into a larger conference space, then you'd want to be able to automatically reset the product to a second set of configuration parameters for this differing room situation.
Yeah.
So you're able to do that with Lenubio, right? There's a variety of presets that you can recall from and load from.
Oh, that's really clever.
And Ian, I assume, Jonathan, you've been working on this and I haven't on this side. We could, if we have our compass control platform layering over, we could do that as a quick, easy button push on the iPad, correct? To say 20 by 25 room, this room 101, room 102. I mean, you can, how many presets can you save in there, Ian?
So there are 2 live presets you can call and recall from, but you can store as many as you would then like, and pull it in over the IP. So you can recall, as many settings really as you'd like to.
Oh, awesome.
I'll have
Kind
our
of like a
developers.
library at that point.
Yeah.
Like pulling from a library at that point. That's exactly correct.
I'll have our developers get right on that feature, guys. Very, very cool stuff. So another product that we've worked together on, other products, I should say, our first Compass module was the DPK1, the DPSP3. You guys used that product, the DPSP3, especially for some educational applications, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, it's really a multi-output speaker EQ type of a DSP. And I was just telling Jim that we had recently deployed this in a couple of football stadiums here in some educational environments for some like local high schools, primarily managing speaker EQ and also delay, because we've got to throw across that field. So we want to be able to set the delay from those remote speakers.
We use it a lot in gymnasiums as well, because you have the requirements of the gym for getting the sound correct in there, because it's such a live application.
Yeah, that's right. Very cool stuff. And that brings us to another recent, where was I there? Another recent module that we've added on our Compass Control Pro product is the M2 series. Let me just type back in 9000 M2. Now, I'm a big fan of this because, because of the mixing capabilities.
Right.
And so here's a look at the module for mixing, which again, for an auditorium, for example, gymnasium, perfect. The user has a nice friendly interface, and they could update the names of those outputs across the bottom, the inputs across the top, and you have your channel volume there. And you can see the little breadcrumbs, those dot in the middle, so they could swipe from 1 through 4, 5 through 8, etc. And then the other thing we're using this for, and kids, stay in school, don't drink, don't do drugs, but we use these in sports bars as well, okay? And so here is the router module, and this actually took some extra building on our development team side to, because it's still a mixer, but you choose your output, and then you choose a source, and truly what's happening is for that output, all 8 input channels get muted except for the selected input. So it essentially creates a router matrix out of that. Guys, just a video guy here. I'm not an audio guy, as I've proven multiple times throughout the day. Did I do an okay job of describing some applications for the 9000 M2?
Sure. I think, you brought that up very well. And
Thank
the
you.
other thing that I'll just pair with this, of course, we've done some of our own webinars up on our own channel, so feel free to visit those. But we've done a couple of instances on the M2 series, and as we say, we call it the Swiss Army knife of mixers, because it does so many different things. You're using it here in this application for standard mixing and, you know, control for audio. But in addition to that, we have remote controls for it. Of course, you're using serial control. We have contact closure control. All of these features are available on the product and active at the same time. So you can really get quite a mix of control out of this piece. Plus, the other advantage it does is it has paging priority of multiple levels for a lot of commercial applications, you know, such as you know, you go into a commercial store like a Macy's or something, and you know, they want to do paging on one floor versus the whole store or that type of thing. So we do all of that.
Yeah, and or perhaps not a department store, but a ski lodge up in New England there. Hey, Jim, like the project we worked on together recently.
Yeah, I think that worked out very well.
Yeah, that was we're real happy to refer our customers to TOA products. They make great products. We're happy to be partners with you all. Jim, Ian, anything you guys would like to plug and resources you'd like to point the audience to?
Well, one thing, just to bring this back again to the education focus that we'd originally started with, the 9000s also really got some special functionality for that. One of the things that Jim just mentioned towards the end there was its ability to be tied in for paging and priority override. So what we're finding is that even for cafeteria, auditorium, gymnasium spaces where they want sound reinforcement, they also would like to be able to have their all-call paging systems tie into those sound systems. Then the paging override will bring down the level of whatever's going on in that room for that emergency notification to be able to be heard on top of anything else, right? The power of that ducking feature of lowering out all the audio so the emergency priority override can occur. So having a 9000 in use in an education environment brings in some of these really important security factors and you know, emergency notification, mass notification functionality that does get overlooked a lot in the use of a traditional production mixer in some of those environments. So we're getting a lot of traction with that in the education environment as well. And I'll tell you what, the way you guys are able to tie into RS-232 control for remote panels, to easily manage the way a room gets managed, it's a perfect combination.
Yeah, and Ian, that was funny when you said that about the emergency ducking. That's always forgotten until the fire marshal is there for the inspection.
You're absolutely correct.
And then they freak out and go, "Oh, well, thank goodness it's already built in." And we can
any integrators out there, you know, with access to great product like yours and like TOA product can really provide a much richer solution for their clients. And in today's environment, we all know security in an education setting is the top priority. So having that sort of an emergency notification system tied in, it just can't be beat. And it's so cost effective to do it.
Yeah, it's so easy with the TOA, the
TOA.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You know what, TOA, TOA.
We're good with it.
We're good with it, guys. No problem.
PO or PO, you know, and we don't care what you call it, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it does make, and TOA, we all call you TOA, but TOA has been so feature rich, especially on the digital, you know, because you guys, you know, you're the industry standard on the traditional analog mixer amps, as I can attest to selling thousands and thousands of pallets of those. But the digital series and the technology you put in and the ease of use is what really sets you apart at TOA with these new products. And we're glad to be you know, partnering up and integrating not just our equipment, but also our control platform together, and just all your cooperation and in this collaboration.
Well, thanks very much. I'm sure most of those mixer amplifiers are still in operation today, 10 plus years down the road. We do find that our products have got some great longevity. And you're right, it's been a solid build for many, many years. And some of these new tools and the way we're able to work together with folks like Key Digital shows that TOA is continuing to develop and move forward with these new digital and IP platforms.
Absolutely. Some of them are 20 plus years easily.
Easily.
Wow. Wonderful. All right, everybody. Well, that'll do it for this episode of KD Live. I would like to just point people to our educational solutions on keydigital.com. You'll see there not only our remote hybrid solution that really became handy in 2020, 2021, and will continue to be useful going forward, but also our classroom in a box solution, really making things very easy for folks. Tie it in with the TOA power amp and you're golden. Anywhere else anybody would like to point the audience?
Don't forget our wireless microphone solutions.
Nice.
Throw one more in there, Ian, for the road, right?
Run more in there for the road. That's right. That's a whole nother topic.
When we go over wireless mics with Ian and Jim.
I hope we can sometime. Absolutely.
We appreciate it very much, guys, and look forward to working with you for many, many decades to come, just like those mixer amps.
Fantastic.
Yeah.